Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really powerful concept called data enrichment. We're going to turn this key data idea into a practical strategy that you can use to level up your career. So let's kick things off with this core idea. Your internal data, your sales logs, all that user activity, it tells a story, for sure, but it's really only half the story. It's great at telling you what happened, but it often leaves you guessing as to why. The real magic, the real light bulb moment, happens when you connect your own data to the big wide world outside. That's how you get the full picture. So today, we're going to show you exactly how to make that connection. All right, let's get right into it. And to make all this super practical, we're going to follow a case study all the way through, a fictional food delivery app we're calling Hungry Now. So Hungry Now is collecting tons of data on its own, everything from customer orders and delivery times to restaurant menus and driver routes. But the thing is, all this data kind of lives in its own little bubble. It can show you that a delivery was late, but it has no clue why. Was there a sudden downpour, a massive traffic jam? It just doesn't know. It can see which areas have the most orders, but it can't tell you where the next big opportunity might be hiding. And bridging that exact gap, is where data enrichment comes into play. It's the hero of our story today. So what is it exactly? Well, it's actually a pretty simple but incredibly powerful idea. Data enrichment is just the process of making your data smarter by layering on context from the outside world. You're merging what you know with what the world knows. So you're probably thinking, okay, great, but what kind of external data are we even talking about? Well, let's build out your toolkit. We can pretty much break it down into 4 main types. First up, we've got open data, and this stuff is fantastic, honestly. It's often totally free, and it's a perfect place to start. We're talking about data that government bodies and other organizations make freely available for, well, pretty much anyone to use. For Hungry Now, this is a total game changer, right? They can plug directly into a live weather API, let's say from the Met Office. So now, when the forecast shows heavy rain coming, they can get ahead of it. They can automatically adjust those delivery ETAs, alert their drivers, and, most importantly, let the customer know. Suddenly, you're not getting angry calls about late, soggy pizza. You're proactively managing the situation. Next up in the toolkit is public data. Now, this is brilliant for getting the lay of the land, understanding the bigger picture your business is operating in. Think census info, demographics, economic data, that kind of stuff. For instance, Hungry Now can take population and income data from the Office for National Statistics. They can literally overlay this on a map of their current orders. And boom, they can instantly see these high-income, densely populated postcodes where they aren't operating yet. It's not guesswork anymore. Their expansion strategy is now totally data-driven. Okay, our third type is administrative data. Now, this might sound a little dry, but trust me, this data, collected by regulatory bodies, can be an absolute goldmine for building trust with your customers. Okay, check this out. By pulling the food hygiene scores directly from the Food Standards Agency, Hungry Now can instantly slap a verified clean badge on the best restaurants right inside the app. Think about the impact of that. It's a tiny piece of external data that builds massive customer confidence right at the moment they're about to click order. And last but not least, we have research data. This is the stuff that helps you see around the corner. It helps you spot the next big trend before everyone else jumps on the bandwagon. You'll find this in reports from market research firms, think tanks, you name it. So get this. A single research report comes out showing a huge spike in demand for plant-based food. For Hungry Now, that's not just an interesting tidbit, that's a signal. They can immediately spin up a whole plant-based picks marketing campaign, targeting those customers and grabbing that market share while the trend is hot. Okay, so we've got our 4 types of data. We know what's out there. But how do you actually do this? How do you build a pipeline to turn all this raw data into real, usable insight? Because it's not just about finding the data. It's about integrating it in a smart, reliable way. Building a solid pipeline really comes down to these 6 steps. First, you profile the data. You got to know what you're working with. Then you standardize your matching keys, like making sure all your postcodes are in the exact same format. Then you can match records between your data and the external source and join them together. After that, you have to validate the results to make sure the quality is good. And finally, and this is crucial, you monitor it to make sure your data stays fresh and accurate over time. All right, so we've done the work, we've built the pipeline. What's the actual payoff? What are the big wins? And maybe just as important, what are the gotchas? What are the things you absolutely have to watch out for? Well, the results for Hungry Now are tangible, and honestly, they're pretty impressive. By integrating that weather and traffic data, their ETA accuracy shot up by 20%. Adding the hygiene scores, customer complaints dropped by 12%. And using demographic data for smarter targeting, marketing ROI went up 18%. I mean, these are real numbers that make a real difference. But it's definitely not without risks. You've got to be smart about this. Your data can go stale, right? So you have to set up automated alerts to check for freshness. You've got licensing issues to think about, so you have to meticulously track attribution in your metadata. Keys won't match up if you're not careful, so you absolutely must standardize them before you join. And really importantly, you have to think about the ethical side. You need to document your decisions and constantly check for unintended bias. Being proactive here is everything. Okay, let's bring all this back to you. How can you take this knowledge and use it to build your own professional portfolio and really show off your value? Listen, don't just put "worked with APIs" on your resume. That doesn't tell anyone anything. Frame your wins like this. These I statements are so powerful because they don't just list a technical skill. They connect that skill directly to a measurable business impact. This is the kind of thing that gets you noticed. So let's just pull it all together one last time. You've got your whole toolkit right here. From open data like weather reports to predict problems, to research data to spot the next big trend. Each one of these solves a real-world business problem. This isn't just abstract theory. It's a practical framework you can use to create serious value. And that's our explainer. We're going to leave you with one final question to take away with you. Just look at the project you're working on right now and ask yourself this. The answer? Well, that might just be your next big career-defining win.